Horrific, deplorable violence is okay, as long as people don't say any naughty words. What?
I was actually surprised when I looked at the timeline of when this movie came out compared to the season, or the how long the series had been around. I can't believe it was only 3 seasons of South Park when the movie came out. And I don't know if... I think the movie is the best thing that Matt Stone and Trey Parker have ever done. But I don't know if it was the peak of how good South Park was, but it's kind of perfect that because it's interesting watching it, a lot of the characters hadn't even been properly developed. But one of the first things that struck me when I sat down to watch it, after not watching it for many, many years, was how much I preferred the crude animation compared with the glossy, smooth, computer-generated animation that it's had for probably the past 8 or 10 seasons.
Man, what are you talking about? You love Terrence and Phillip. Yeah, but the animation's all crappy.
And also, just the whole tone of the show felt totally different, or the tone of the movie. But the movie was identical to the show. But yeah, to me, that was what the show was. It was the crude animation, the voices, and there's something about like halfway through the show's existence, it kind of just, I feel like it lost that quality.
There's a certain thing about the animation aspect of it where I think they designed the bodies like that, where they actually have no feet. So they just like, when they walk, they just like waddle along, like, and which you've seen in a lot of characters, especially Saddam Hussein's character, like, which just makes it 10 times more funnier. And you can say that about a lot of cartoons, like obviously The Simpsons. Later on, it's been rubbish for years, but it was better when it wasn't all computer generated. It had that kind of charm to it that it loses when it goes into the computer.
Yeah, there's a certain imperfection that is the charm to it.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so the South Park movie, I remember watching it as a kid and just loving it, and it was the first and arguably only musical I love. Actually, no, Rocky Horror Picture Show I love as well. But it's one of those things where the songs are just brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, they really are. Like, musically, they're brilliant. What's your favourite song on it?
My favourite song, actually, I forgot how good the musical bits in it was. My favourite song is Mr. MK.
You can do it, it's all up to you, MK. With a little plan, you can change your life today.
And obviously, the classic, shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
You don't eat or sleep or mow the lawn, you just fuck your uncle all day long.
Yeah, I'd honestly say, like, I was trying to figure out what my favourite one is, and I gave up when I couldn't. It was a toss-up between 5 or 6 songs.
Really?
Like, I think so many of the songs are so quality. Like, Uncle Fucker is obviously the probably the most memorable one. The Satan song.
The Satan song,
is
yeah.
absolutely fucking brilliant.
Everyone dreams I could dream too. Up there, up where the skies are ocean blue.
But then you get all the way up to towards the end, and you have Big Gay Al's song.
I'm feeling super, no nothing bugs me. Everything is super when don't you think I look cute in this hat?
Yeah.
And La Resistance.
Yeah.
And it's just Carl's Mom's a Bitch. Like, there's just too many fucking fantastic songs. But the smartest thing about the whole movie is obviously the way it finds a way to brilliantly satirize the very controversy that was surrounding the show at the time. The characters of what the Canadians called again?
Terrence and Phillip.
The characters of Terrence and Phillip obviously are serving as the representatives of Matt Stone and Trey Parker in real life. And the whole way it centres around the fact that they're willing to go to war with Canada in order to protect their children from the foul language and crude humour
Yeah.
that's in the show in a movie that they're not even supposed to be being able to watch in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's just brilliant. What was your? It's interesting how it clearly was canon within the series, because I believe Kenny actually was permanently dead in the show after the movie.
Yeah, he was.
Until a certain point where I think he got resurrected or something, because he was in the later seasons. So I like the fact that there was a permadeath there, whereas he'd always, died every episode.
Yeah.
But then the start of the show nearly feels like it's taking place before the start of the Southpark series in a way, because it's like they haven't discovered swearing yet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when was this released? Like 1998, 7? What I liked about it then...
999.
999. What I liked about it is it's just over an hour in runtime, and they just perfectly within that hour and... I think it's hour 15, hour 20. They didn't try and do too much. They fit it in all perfectly. If it was any longer than that, it would have been like, this is getting a tad a bit much now. Do you know what I mean?
I think like what you're saying is they fit a million different pieces together.
Yeah.
Because I guess they didn't try and do too much because they ended up pulling that off, but they tried to do fuckloads. Like there is so many elements to this story, which is what I always like about South Park compared to, say, like Family Guy, and they kind of made this point in their own little Cartoon Wars two-parter during this show, where the jokes are always secondary to a story. Mm-hmm. It's not just a series of jokes. It's the story is funny, and then there'll be jokes happening moment to moment just in the dialogue that are hilarious, and then there'll be little things just going on, and like little touches in the background. Like one of my favourite moments is when Conan O'Brien throws himself out a window and dies, and he smashes the car and he's like all dead and bloodied, and the car alarm's going off, and then someone just walks off and like beeps it off, and
he just walks off screen.
You loved our movie, Conan. We watched it together, remember? You laughed. What have I done?
Like, is there a bad song in it? The only song I remember I'm always looking... Like, I don't remember it well, but I actually do enjoy it when it's on. But it's probably my least favourite is Saddam Hussein's song.
I know I've been a dirty little bastard. I like to kill, I like to rape. Yes, I'm insane, but it's okay, because I can change.
Yeah, I think that was a bit... It seemed a bit out of order and a bit forced. Like they had to give him a song kind of thing, but
yeah, it's just the one it's the one you least look forward to probably when you're rewatching it.
But I can't believe, going back to the point of how much they fit in, like making the devil gay, like some huge, like massive devil wearing like ripped black shorts, and like Saddam Hussein's bullying him about, and it's like, these guys, man, how the fuck do they get away with it?
And just the dumb details, like the fact that he just for some reason has his actual face.
Yeah.
like in the cartoon.
It's like, how do they... And fucking, like... I wasn't shocked, but like, when Kenny goes to hell, and then you got Hitler, and all of a sudden Gandhi's there, and it's like, fucking hell.
Well, I also love the touch that before he's denied access, you see the population of heaven is about
1,000,
just over 1,000,
yeah.
and the population of
hell's like millions and millions.
Oh, it's like it's billions. It's like 900 billion or something. So I love that, and I love the whole subplot of the Satan and Saddam Hussein having a toxic relationship where he's been mistreated, and the scenes where Kenny's like coaching the devil about like have faith in yourself and like believe in yourself and break up with him.
It's Saddam. He doesn't nurture my emotions. He just wants sex and can't learn to communicate.
But yeah, so it manages to mix in what their message was about at the time about freedom of speech and not censoring things just because it might influence kids in some ways, and taking ownership over your own and responsibility over your own actions. Got that all in perfectly. Fitted in, a bunch of great show tunes essentially.
Mm.
You know, managed to shoehorn in like a war.
Yeah.
Managed to shoehorn in a plot about Satan coming back to Earth and taking over the planet.
And also about finding the clitoris.
Searching for the clitoris, I was about to say.
I've looked all over for you, and now you have to tell me how to get Wendy to like me.
Dude, you just have to have confidence in yourself. Believe in yourself and others will believe in you.
Who was your favourite characters in it?
See,
Minor characters.
This is a question because of the whole series in general. Are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the movie. Yeah.
Minor characters. I like the Resistance guy.
You didn't say anything about watches. What do you think this is, kid? TV kiddie hour where we all sit around and lick Barney the dinosaur's fucking pussy? Huh? This is real life with consequences you take to the grave. Dude, we don't have watches.
I was going to say as well.
Yeah. Obviously, I would say out of the whole series in general, my favourite character would be Chef.
Yeah.
Like, he's just...
He is oddly not present in this, but I suppose he was never that present in the show, except for the episodes where a plotline featured around him.
And this was what I found funniest about the whole film. When they all get drafted into the army, and then you got like the proper white general, like you guys will be the first row forwards, and like,
Operation Human Shield.
Yeah, Operation Human Shield, and then like you see a plane flying up, and it's got two black guys like taped to the wings, and it's like,
Are there any questions, men? Yes, soldier.
Have you ever heard of the Emancipation Proclamation?
I don't listen to hip-hop.
Terrence and Phillip I really liked them in this as well, because they nearly had they were kind of like the Itchy and Scratchy of Southpark, even like intentionally so, I think, but I really liked them getting way more screen time in this. I don't know if you remember in the series, but there was one episode where they went to Canada and it kind of mirrored the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I saw that one, yeah.
But they were like mainstays in the whole episode again, and I always liked them as characters. I always thought they were quite underused. Like I liked when there was a episode devoted or featured them a lot.
Yeah.
So I really liked that they were in the movie so much. And it's just a brilliant way of taking the piss out of their own show, basically, because that is, as much as South Park was so cleverly written, so satirical, so not just what the headlines and you know, mums groups, organisations and stuff would like to pretend it was. It was, when it came down to it, mostly like what you wanted was just dick and fart jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that is what the show is all about, and it's just got it in spades in this.
But I think a lot of the characters were, because you said it was only like 3 seasons in.
Yeah.
Before they made this film, I think this kind of catapulted a lot of characters to then, from audience reaction, to be more popular.
Like who?
Like Mr. Garrison, like fucking hell with the Mr. Hand.
Yeah, see, I'm struggling to remember. I think Mr. Garrison was quite a big character, but I do know what you mean, the way so many of the characters weren't, like their personas weren't developed at all yet.
Yeah.
Like Randy was virtually a background character that never spoke.
Yeah, I was going to say that about Randy, because we've had this discussion before. He is our favourite character by far. Like he's just hilarious. You got the whole storylines about him being an alcoholic. Like, I'm really ill.
Sharon.
Yeah.
Sharon.
Or the one where he like just goes to like sports games to fight other dads was one of my
like in later seasons he would be like, they nearly relied on him.
They did
too much. Like he was featured too much. Butters I don't even think was a background character.
See, I find Butters a bit annoying. But he's meant to be like that, do you know what I mean?
No, I think he suffered from the same disease that Randy had, where he just featured too much then, like became too used. Who else? Like Wendy is, you know, personality, doesn't really have a personality at this point in the series and the movies, and later she kind of developed quite a specific whiny sort of personality.
Token, the black guy.
I don't think, was he even in it?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was in
it.
He was
He's running around with his little purple jumper.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd had a really episode.
No.
Or maybe he had, I can't remember.
I'm trying to think of who else, man. Yeah, Butters weren't in it though.
We talked about Butters. No, he is in it.
Oh, he is.
He's the guy. Do you remember? He's the guy during the La Resistance song. He's the guy running with the flag that trips over.
I missed that. Yeah, but all in all, like, it is really a musical at heart, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's a musical on the surface as well. It's every inch in it musical. And I think it was the first time, I can't remember if there was any musical numbers in the series up to now, but it was the first time Trey Parker was able to scratch his musical itch, I guess, in something that became successful. Like before this, they'd done 2 movies, Orgasmo and Basketball.
I saw that one.
Which I've never seen Basketball, so I don't know if there's a musical number in it. But Orgasmo has a brilliant song called Now You're a Man, which I definitely recommend looking up.
But this really...
But he'd never really got to do that before. And ever since, you know, Southpark is full of songs. Like in the series, the Team America World Police is a musical with loads of brilliant songs in it. And he ended up making it a fully fledged on the stage musical, Book of Mormon. So, but this, I suppose, was the first time. And I assume part of the reason why the quality is so high is he must have had a certain number of these songs, or ideas at least for them, which eventually became the songs in the movie, in his locker for a long, long time, wanting to use them. Yeah.
I mean, this film, if you look at it back then, it sets up Team America perfectly. Like, they asked Ricky Gervais on Twitter. He was in a Twitter poll. He was like, "What's your 5 favourite comedy films of all time?" And he included Team America in it.
I would definitely.
Definitely. I love Team America. But the plot is... I think the plot is also a big factor in the film. Obviously, the plot is very clever as well. Do you know what I mean?
It's brilliant. Have you got any problems with it?
Do you?
Honestly, no.
No,
like,
I'm trying to think. No.
For me, it is close to being a perfect movie.
Yeah.
And even as good as they were, it was more successful in terms of how good it was than it had any right to be. Like, it's amazing that they were... Like, so often, let's be real, so often, making movies out of a TV show is a cash grab.
Yeah.
They are... Like, I was thinking today that when I was watching it, I was thinking this is definitely the best movie from a TV show adaptation ever. But then I was trying to think of, like, would I call it, at least in my opinion, probably the only good one?
Yeah, The Simpsons was poor.
See, a lot of people love The Simpsons movie. I remember,
I didn't like it at all.
I thought, and that was when The Simpsons the show was still funny, but I thought it was dreadful. And again, it did not feel like the show.
Yeah,
it did not feel at all like the show. South Park the movie, in the best way possible. It didn't feel like a 90-minute episode, but it felt like the show. It had the spirit and the tone and everything
100%.
of the show.
100%.
You know, like, what else is there? Like, in between, like, they're all shite. The Friends movie they want to make will be shite.
The only problem that I have with it, and it's nothing that I can ever change, I wish I kind of saw this movie stand alone at the time before it, because let's be honest with each other, South Park is like a pop culture icon now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would have loved to see it back then as like our age, like just going into it, not knowing anything about.
But you saw it at the
South Park.
time, didn't you?
What, 19? I would only been like 9 years old or 10 years.
Yeah, but I think it was part like Terrence and Phillip. Even though it's not intended for kids, it was hugely popular with kids. I remember knowing someone that had seen it when it was still out in the cinema. I guess they'd seen it on a pirate DVD. They were only a little bit older than me, maybe like 11. And I remember being like amazed, and I kept asking them like questions about it. And, like, how many times did Kenny die? And I couldn't believe that he only died once. I assumed he was going to die like hundreds of times, and all these stupid predictions. But yeah, do you recommend it?
Yeah, I totally recommend this. Like, even if you're not a fan of South Park, as a standalone film, I would give it a watch, personally.
Yeah, I'd say if you've never seen South Park, or you know nothing about it, or you haven't a certain opinion about it, or you've seen a snip of it recently and you don't think it's very good, give it a chance, because this is genuinely one of the greatest comedies ever made. In my opinion, the greatest TV into a movie adaptation ever made, and one of the greatest musicals ever made. Beautifully crafted, ingeniously funny, wonderfully satirical. easy recommendation for Southpark the movie.
Today. I'm